What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome in to another episode of the Triple Play Fantasy Baseball Show, a proud member of Empire Media and the Empire Media Podcast Network. D. Mendy here, joined by no cheesecake, joined by no Doc. So we had to bring in an entire team to replace the usuals on this show. We got a Roto fanatic team. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we welcome in some men that you could say I'm huge fans of generally. Heck, you could even call me a fanatic of these guys. We have a high A West correspondent for Prospect 1500, a prospect analyst. Heck, the P in his name has to stand for prospect. Of course, that is Mr. Michael Richards. How's it going, man?
It's going great, David. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I love what you've been doing on Twitter, and it's going to be a lot of fun talking with you today.
It's pumped having you, and I'm pumped having the rest of your crew here, which another guy here, of course, is a Twins Prospect 1500 background actor here, also who's going to get some lines in this show today, as he's been looking for those lines. He'll also be doing anything but be in the background, and that is, of course, Mr. Dave Funnel. How's it going?
Hey, man, it's good to be here. Love what you guys are doing, and just here to talk. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. I'm really pumped. You both, and then you guys being the first time on the show, I had to bring in a grizzled veteran here just to,
very grizzled, very grizzled.
And that, of course, is the dad of Elle and Jack, and also Jack's Smelly Farts, the closer coming on to the show that writes for Roto Fanatic, SP Streamer, 9-inning know-it-all, and Fantrax, and he's our principal. That, of course, is Mr. Dr. Mike Carter. How's it going?
Oh, David, it's good to be back on with you, man. I've been looking forward to this, and good to be on with Dave and with Michael as well. Two fantastic writers, genius-level type people doing what they do. So really happy to be on with you guys.
Yeah, again, great group. We were kind of behind the scenes putting something together. I wanted to get a bunch of Roto Fanatic guys. You guys are doing awesome stuff over there. Wanted to bring some more light to all the great things going on there with some of the great people in the fantasy baseball industry. So, Mike, I'll just go to you first. What can you tell some people all the great stuff that are going on at Roto Fanatic and all the things that people need to be checking out that you guys are doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty awesome team of people over there. It's these two clowns and me, and Crosby Spencer and Paul Mamino, who is I used the word genius earlier to describe these two guys. Paul is doing stuff that I've never even thought about. I mean, he's putting numbers together and giving me charts and saying, "Here, read this." I'm like, I don't know what the hell this means. So Carmen Morano, of course, and our founder Matt Williams. Did I leave anybody out, guys? I think is that Phil. Everybody? Oh, Phil might still be awake in Ireland listening. So, but no, honestly, these guys are fantastic. They're putting together really good content, and we're really going to be working in the next year to be putting out more content on a weekly basis, doing a little bit more writing, doing a little bit more with the podcast. Michael Govier, of course, I forgot him. How could you forget that guy? And the Mr. Character himself. With a lot of good ideas coming out. We're growing this thing and hoping to kind of take it to the next level here next year. We've got a lot of really good ideas coming together for late fall and for early spring, and these two guys are a huge part of that. It's been really a great group of people to work with. I think that, as all things start, people are really busy, and obviously, things started during COVID for us. And I think that as we've kind of gone through that and kind of trying to come out on the other side of it, we're all kind of trying to feel out what those roles are going to be within the team, similar to how a dream team would come together and everybody kind of finds their role. I'm definitely the Christian Leitner of this dream team.
Come on now,
the guy who doesn't belong, the one who gets bullied in practice. No, I'm kidding. But we got a lot of really good stuff coming up there. The Data Monster obviously is something that we're really high on and totally stoked about. Crosby's Park Factors. The stuff that Michael is doing, I think, is he's going to be really well known in this field. It's revolutionary. And Dave's doing the Infirmary Report, which is a 5,000 page monster every weekend with all the injuries that we've had. It's totally a labor of love. And these guys, I think people forget a lot of times that none of us are really getting paid to do these types of things, right? Mm-hmm. So it's all volunteer work. We all do it because we love it and because we feel like we might be able to help fantasy players out there, get a little bit of an edge on something. And you'll do it again next year when you get that one person who, shares your tweet and thanks you for something that was helpful to them. That's really what I do it for. It's really a lot of fun. A great group of guys over there.
Yeah, you could say it's this type of chemistry.
Oh yeah, baby.
That's all the chemistry that you hear at the Roto Fanatic. That's everybody getting along, putting out great content. They do great. And I do realize now that I can't say Mike because there's two Mikes on this show, as we talked about. Because that originally was
he's Michael.
Go...
He's
Michael.
He's the Michael.
Okay, so we'll do Michael and Mike. That's how we're gonna do this. And luckily, there's two Daves too, but I don't have to introduce myself. So you'll be the Dave tonight. So. Okay, we got a great show for everybody. A lot of great stuff coming here down the stretch as we have September stockpiling. Yes, and I love the alliteration. So anytime I can make it work, I'm going to make it work. And what we mean by September stockpiling is it's the final countdown. And we have these last few weeks of the fantasy baseball season to grind through. So let's finish strong, help people out with these tough decisions. Of course, that could be finding that pitcher with one or two good starts down the stretch that you're buying in on with his schedule, home run happy bat, some unexpected speed, all that much more. Of course, stockpiling talent can be hard. So what we're going to be doing is looking at the last few weeks of some names that have been popping up of guys. Again, maybe they had one good start. They're kind of making you raise an eyebrow here, or they're picking up some stolen bags, and you can use that down the stretch. So we've got 5 hitters and 5 pitchers I want to get through here. The first guy we're going to talk about is Raphael Ortega. And he's been looking pretty good for the Chicago Cubs, who pretty much down the stretch have just been giving a lot of young guys some playing here. Now, over the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been great. He's only hitting 175 and 40 at-bats with 2 homers and 8 RBIs and 1 steal. But he's been a guy that's been getting consistent playing time, playing a bunch of different spots in the outfield for the Chicago Cubs. I'm interested, Michael, is Raphael Ortega somebody that you're trusting on your fantasy team as we get into these last 4 weeks here? Michael can't hear me, so we're going to go to Dave Funnel. Same for you.
Yeah, I don't mind him that much.
That's a ringing endorsement.
I don't mind him. I do love September baseball though, because you really get to see after the trade deadline and things start iron themselves out, that you get to see the teams that are either playing for something, or if they're not playing for anything, they're just gonna pound the rock and they want to see what they've got. So with Ortega, I mean, he's going to get the counting stats for you because he's going to play every day. How well he'll do, I'm not so sure. I mean, he'll walk, he'll get on base. He's got a little bit of power, but overall, if you need the counting stats, I'd go for it. If you want the games played, he might not kill your averages if you're playing Roto because it's been a whole season, but Ortega's okay. I'd give him about a 5 out of 10. He's in the middle for me.
Yeah, that's a hard. I mean, these are definitely like kind of fringe-worthy players. They're not usually not too many slam dunks here. If I said, Dave, you're walking the plank, you're jumping in the water. If you don't tell me yes or no, what are you picking?
I am on board with him.
There we go.
I'm taking him. I'll trust them for a week or two, and let's see what happens, because he's going to play every day. So I do like the counting stats. Let's see where it goes. I'll trust them.
All right, so Michael, that question was originally going to you, so I'm going to ask your thoughts on it as well. Raphael Ortega was spinning some pretty awful stats over the last couple weeks here, but their playing time is there, like Dave was alluding to, and the counting stats could be there. Are you in on Raphael Ortega?
Well, as you guys said, everything's based on the league size and your team needs. He does have a lot of things going for him. The playing time, has 8 stolen bases and 8 home runs. So there's not a lot of guys who bring some level of power speed usually available this late in the season. I'm not a huge believer in him long term, but since we're down the stretch here, he is someone that I do have on a couple of my teams right now, and I'm willing to keep him there as long as he's not going 0 for 4 every game. And then, I'm just riding the hot hand with him with a power speed profile. and the Cubs are going to give him a chance to play. So
that's my question: is why are the Cubs giving him a chance to play? He's 30 years old. He can't hit lefties. It's a small sample size. I shouldn't make such a stunning comment about him not hitting lefties. But why, if you're a rebuilding team, why are you giving a 30-year-old guy an opportunity? Why don't they have anybody younger that they want to give a chance to? Don't they want to bench Jay Hay and see if they have anything else lower in the minor leagues that might be something that's helpful? I don't mind him either. I mean, he's got 8 home runs and 8 steals, I think, last time I checked. And David's right. His last couple of weeks have not been very good. I don't know. I mean, I think that there's probably better options out there. And here's the problem that I always run into. And you guys probably, because you're smarter than me, have probably better insight to this. But I get really stuck at this time of year. I get really stuck on the idea like, okay, I'm not going to bench Bryce Harper for one of these type of guys. You know what I mean? Like, I understand picking up the hot hand and picking up, a guy like Patrick Wisdom who might hit 5 home runs in a week. And that's fine. And I get that. But I always really get stuck on the idea that, like, damn it, I drafted Bryce Harper and I'm going to ride Bryce Harper till I'll die on that hill. Yeah. And I won't use Raphael Ortega, even though he could probably help me.
I don't think you should bench your stars like that. But when I'm talking about Raphael Ortega, or when we are here, I'm thinking more as like your last outfielder. Mm-hmm. You're not like, oh, I'm going to play him over first round picks.
Right.
Thing. It's like, I'm going to play him if I need, because he could give you 2 home runs and 2 steals in a week also.
And that could be a difference maker for you in a league, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. So as my 5th outfielder, 4th outfielder, if I don't have better players, I'm willing to ride it.
Yeah. I totally can understand that.
And you brought up a good point though about like benching your start. The one thing you got to be too careful about it, but if you just look at the matchups for the week, if your star has 5 games and let's say the Cubs with Ortega or whoever they're playing every day has 7 games, it gets to that point where it's a little more even, especially when it gets down to like let's say in head to head, if every hit counts, every at bat counts. So there's a fine line of just going with your stars, but then it's also lineup constructed as well. And if you look at the matchups, if they're in Colorado or it's a good matchup for the week, it sometimes makes it tricky. So you've just got to keep an eye on what's coming, what they're doing. You really got to be on top of things here in September.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So it sounds like for the most part, we're sold on Ortega helping you out down the stretch here. We're talking about the Cubs, so let's just go over to his teammate that Mr. Mike Carter alluded to, and that's Patrick Wisdom.
Oh, I see.
And it's a good transition from you, Doc. That's why you're a professional here. And over the last few weeks, he's hit 238. He's got 22 strikeouts and 42 at-bats. So that strikeout percentage not looking very good. It hasn't been great most of the season. He does have 7 home runs over that stretch, though. So are you in? I mean, pretty much it's power. That's all you're getting Patrick Wisdom for. Is that enough for you to want to roster him down the stretch here? Let's start off with Michael here.
Well, again, with all these players, it's going to be league dependent. If I needed power and I could afford the hit and batting average, he's definitely someone that I would roster in a deeper league. And, I play a lot of leagues that are really deep. So all the players that we're going to talk about, they're already on everyone's roster. But, if we're playing like a 10-team league or something, I'm probably not going to be messing with any of these guys. But when we get into 12, 15 and stuff, 16-team leagues, like that's when these sort of players can come in and are just worth a shot, basically. So I see him, like you said, a lot of strikeouts. Maybe he hits you a couple home runs in a week. I wouldn't want to play him in a league where I needed batting average, or that could hurt me. You're not going to get any speed. So it really is. It's like a poor man's Miguel Sano or something. So it has value, and guys like that can lead the league in home runs in a week. But they could also go 0 for 16.
No, that's true. And I think you get context is important. Size league, if you have batting average, he's going to be a huge detriment to that. Mike Carter, are you on the same train here as your buddy, Mr. Michael Richards?
Yeah, I mean, he's got 25 home runs and 254 at bats, which is pretty impressive, right? I mean, that's as Michael said. I mean, he could hit 5 or 6 home runs in a week easily, depending on what's going on. But he's also got a 40% K percentage, and he struck out 45% of the time since the All-Star break. I think I'm out on him. Deep league, like Michael said, and you're like starting Eric Hosmer or something like that, then yeah, I think it's worth the risk to get those stats. It depends on what you need, but I'm probably out on him in just about every league that I would be in.
Okay, fair enough. I do want to slide over to this next person here because I want to talk some pitchers too. And so, Dave, I'm going to have you lead off on this next guy who actually recently just came off the injured list, and that is Matthew Boyd, who has kind of been letting us down, I feel like, consistently for many, many years. Everybody's kind of been expecting that Matthew Boyd was going to make that leap into what we thought was going to be something, and he's teased us, and he's teased us. He's back. Do you trust him down the stretch as someone you can roster on your team?
I will trust him after his next start. As good as he was in his last start, it was 2 home runs, wasn't it? He gave up 2 home runs to the Jays. Yeah. I mean, against the Jays, obviously, it's a great lineup, but that was his Achilles heel last year, was the home runs. And he, just looking at his stats last year, he gave up 15 home runs last year, and before the Jays game, he had only given up, if I can do some math, 3-6. So he was out for a while with an injury. I need to see a little bit more. I want to make sure. I think he's again. Is it Cincinnati coming up or something? It's a tough schedule coming up for him. A tough start, but I want to see if he can keep the ball in the park. If he does that, then I'm on board. But if he doesn't, I think he might be back to where he was last year. So,
Mr. Richards, are you on the same boat as that?
Well, Matthew Boyd, I do have concerns with him. He has pitched well this year, but anyone coming off an injury like this, I'm concerned about sliding him right back into the lineup. For me, it'd be like a matchup play, like Dave said. He's a fly ball pitcher. He's not going to get a lot of wins for Detroit. And again, there's such a small amount of time left in the season that any of these players could be horrendous or play like top 50 guys down the stretch. So it's like, it's hard to say like no, but I mean, I'm looking for different types of pitchers down the stretch if I can find them. But obviously in a deep enough league, Matthew Boyd's going to be the best player available. So, but overall, I'm not a huge believer. His strikeouts are down from even last year in 2019, big time.
Yep.
So I'm scared of him if I'm trying to win a league with pitching.
No, yeah, and it looks like he's against the Reds and then possibly even the Rays after that. So, and it could be even 2 games against the Rays. So I'm off board. I'm off board right now. I'll play it safer. I'll stream. I'll find something else going forward. I'll play the streaming game. I don't mind doing that down the stretch, but I'm off him for now.
Yeah, the 19.3% K percentage this year is really kind of alarming. I mean, if he was up above league average where he's been in the past, I think it would be worth taking a flyer on. Detroit has played better. To Michael's point, they're not great, but they've played better, and I would be willing to take that risk. But I don't like where he's at right now. I'm a little concerned about coming off the injury. I did grab him in a couple of leagues and stash him just in case he does get hot. I had a spot where I could hold on to him. So that's what I'm doing. I would say that I'm out on him at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Matthew Boyd is always a scary proposition. He's going to give up a lot of fly balls. This next pitcher that I want to get into, and I'm going to have Dave, you lead off with this guy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jesus Lazardo, who in his last start, for the first time he hadn't given up 3 earned runs or less before this start until since August 2nd, and he hasn't given up 1 run or less since June 15th. So this was 6 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts. Now, I think some of the interesting things from this start, one, he has glasses on now, or goggles or whatever. So maybe he's going with he couldn't see properly. I don't know, but that was the first thing I noticed. The second thing is his pitch mix entirely changed in this start. And maybe that's something that we're going to be optimistic about, as in most of the time this season, he's been going heavy sinker as his top pitch 28% of the time, then 4-seamer 26%, curveball 23%, changeup 22%. Now in this start against the Cincinnati Reds, he went changeup heavy, And he went sinker as his least amount of used pitch, 31% changeup, 18% sinker. Basically flip-flopped his pitch mix from the season upside down. Got 14 swings and 7 whiffs on the changeup in this start. Good for a 34% CSW. Got a 56% CSW on his curveball. Now, there's a lot in this start. And again, the Reds are a swing-happy team, and they're not necessarily too great against lefties. So go ahead, Dave. I'm like my fingers on the add Jesus Lazardo button. Should I pull it back?
I would I'd click right now. We'll wait for you if you really need to, but it's and it's amazing. First of all, like the first thing he said was with the eyeglasses. It's amazing what eyesight can do. I know, Mike, you and I were talking about Ronaldo Lopez. The same thing. With him. His eyes checked, and now he can see. So I know he said that he's going to keep wearing his glasses. I don't know if he feels it's good luck or not, but I'm on board with him. I think everyone should be. And I also think he's on a team that if any team's going to fix him, if any team's going to turn him around, it's him. It's Miami. And I think I'm on board for the rest of the year. I would take this, run with it, and obviously have a bit of a short leash just in case, it's not fixed for this season. Obviously in Dynasty, his stock is huge and it's going to probably get better after an off season with the Marlins, but take him now and roll with it. And then I think it's going to help you out come playoff time.
Mike, are we doing this? Are we going back into the Jesus Lazardo experiment here for this season?
He sort of reminds me of that ex-girlfriend that keeps coming back and you keep letting her back in. And maybe you guys don't have that same experience that I have, but I've had that experience a few times, and you just can't get rid of them. You just keep going back. Lazardo, I want to believe. It's like you want to really believe that these changes are permanent, but it's one start. And what you guys said about the pitch mix is right on. I've never understood why he doesn't throw his curveball more. I think he's got a really good curveball. If you look back at it historically, he's been able to get a lot of outs with that. And I think when you've got 4 pitches that you all throw about the same time, if he can figure out a way to master that, I mean, it's going to be really impressive. I think it was a stroke of genius how Kim Ng got him for the Marlins. And I think if you're really desperate for pitching, and a lot of people are, I would add him. The one concern that I do have, and I don't know how you feel about it, Dave, is, what kind of volume are they going to give him down the stretch? I mean, are they going to really let this guy open it up and throw 6-7 innings at a time if he's capable of it? Or are they going to be limiting him to 3 or 4 innings? Because that really hurts your chances of using him in a playoff situation. That's the thing that always worries me down the stretch with some of these young guys, is that teams can get conservative. Miami doesn't really have anything to play for. What if they decide, that he's got that really juicy start coming up against somebody and they take him out after 4 innings and you're screwed, I don't know.
I think they might treat him like taking him out for a test drive right now and see what they can work on in the offseason. So I think they will give him the innings. I think they will give him the chance to see what he's got, because they obviously liked him enough to trade to make that deal. And I think they're going to give him the innings down the stretch to make sure that he can see exactly what they have, and then they can go from there in the offseason and fix it.
Can you imagine what that rotation could look like next year with health? Get out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like that meme of the guy that goes,
yeah.
That's literally what it is. Their rotation is disgusting.
The problem is they'll still probably try to figure out a way to get Garrett Cooper to be part of the mix or something, like that. They'll totally blow it for everybody.
Now, can I say, though, before we move to the next guy, that we need to acknowledge that the Marlins, I think, have somewhat an idea what they're doing, in the sense of when we were killing them for trading Zach Gallen for Jazz Chisholm, and we're like, what are they doing? Like he looks like he's going to be a bona fide ace. And Jazz Chisholm looks like he's going to be a foundational piece for them. And they have so much pitching. They really didn't need him. They have so many guys. The
Marlins have turned a lot of pitchers that don't have as good as stuff as Lazardo into good pitchers.
Yes, they have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
a great point.
It's a good combination. If and he's 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So on the spot, Michael Richards, where are you comfortable drafting Jesus Lazardo next year?
In redraft leagues?
In a redraft. And Dynasty, I'm sure everybody's trying to acquire him. Because his value is super low now. So in a redraft league, where and obviously this can change. If he has a great last month of the season, his ADP is going to skyrocket again. But assuming that the season ended now, where do you think
I don't have a great understanding of the average draft position at the moment. But he is someone that even as he's been struggling this season, he's someone I've had in the back of my mind to target where I need to next season. So as late as I need to. And if it gets to the point where people are looking at him like he's a made man, then I'm out.
Okay, fair enough. We're talking about trades because he was part of the trade. So let's talk about another pitcher that was in a trade, and that's Glenn Otto, who came to the Rangers in the Joey Gallo deal. And in his debut, looked pretty darn good. Tossed a couple, he only has the one start so far, 5.2 innings, 7 strikeouts, and 2 hits against the Houston Astros in his first start. Pretty good lineup, too, to have your first start against to be able to put up those type of numbers here. Went heavy on the fastball and slider combination, as that was kind of his 1-2 punch against them right now. The slider actually got 8 of the 9 whiffs in his start. So I'm going to go to you, Doc, first.
Sure.
Glenn Otto, we haven't seen him make his next start yet, but is this somebody that you think you want to pick up and use some fab on as we enter the last month here?
Yeah, I mean, I need some help, right? Like I've lost Zach Eflin, and then Flaherty went down again, so I definitely am going to be targeting some pitchers this week. And if you look at his minor league stuff, I know it's only one start, and we can't really make too much of a surmising of one start. But in the minor leagues, his career is 16-8, 3.03 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 246 strikeouts, and 187 innings. That speaks to me a little bit. Now, he was not a real Michael would know more about this than I would, but I don't think he was a very heralded prospect in New York. I mean, they had guys like Davey Garcia and people, Clark Schmidt and those guys ahead of him and much more hyped. But this guy looks like he actually knows how to pitch, which is kind of an interesting thing. And you know what? There's a lot of history of guys from Rice University going to the major leagues and being really successful by being smart guys and knowing how to pitch. And so I'm interested. I'm intrigued on him. I don't admittedly don't know a ton about him. But I'm intrigued enough to be able to throw a couple fab bids on him this weekend just to replace some guys that I've lost.
Well, we do have the prospect guy here, Michael Richards. So this is basically the red carpet now for you. You can go ahead and walk down. Tell us what we need to do with Glenn Otto. Is it someone we can trust here down the stretch?
Well, I noticed him early on in the season. His numbers were standing out. The first problem I have with him is his age versus level, which is the thing that so it was hard for me to take the numbers seriously at first, but then it continued at AA, AAA, and into the first start. So here's where I'm at with him. He can strike people out. So if I'm chasing strikeouts and I can handle giving up some runs, if that's part of what I'm doing, basically he's a strikeout guy that I would chase. As far as like his long term, everyone that I've talked to is telling me that there's too much reliever risk, which is why he's never been ranked very high in the prospect world. As you said, the fastball slider. So he's probably, I still think that's a possibility down the road where he does become like a multi-inning reliever type guy. But as far as down the stretch, it's like they said, like anyone can be helpful in small stretches. They're going to give him a chance. They acquired him in a trade. They want to see what he can do. And if the first start's any indication, it's worth a small gamble, in my opinion. If your team is in
because Michael said that, I'm going for it. Because I thought he was going to shit all over my parade, and he is like endorsing it kind of. So I'm going for it. If Michael says that the guy's worth having, I'm going for it.
He's worth speculating on to see if he can do it for a couple more starts.
Yeah.
If your team can take him not doing it. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in him. I don't want to put that out there. It's just I know how weird baseball is, and guys, it might take a few starts for the league to catch up to him.
Sure. And that's what I'm banking on.
Well, so I want to go from a guy that was traded to the Rangers from the Yankees to a guy that's on the Yankees right now. And Dave, are you a Twins fan by chance? I don't know for sure. Are you?
I'm not. No, I write about their prospects though. But
okay, so Well, you don't. Then I guess you don't understand the pain of the Twins when they play the Yankees because it is absolutely brutal. But I'm going to ask you about a Yankees prospect here that's now getting a lot of playing time recently, and that's Andrew Velazquez, who over the last couple of weeks has kind of been somebody that's been plugged in a lot and hasn't been talked about. In the last 40 at-bats, he's got a homer, 6 RBIs, and 3 steals, hitting .275. So he's giving him a little bit of speed. 14 strikeouts and 40 at-bats. It's not horrible. Definitely not. It could be a little bit better. So what are your thoughts on Andrew Velazquez? Is he going to get the necessary playing time, you think, in the month of September for him to be rosterable?
Well, here's the thing. I think Torres is coming back very soon. I think he's in a rehab assignment in Double A or something like that soon. So I believe he'll be bumped out of some playing time. If you need speed, I would pick him up and see what you can get out of him. You're not going to get much of anything else, though, really. So if you need speed, I'd go for it until Torres comes back. But otherwise, I'm not on board. Doesn't do it for me.
So I'll ask both Mike and Mike. Do you guys feel any differently about him? If you guys feel differently, definitely hop in. If you guys think it's I'm letting him stay on the wire, then all right, then we can move on.
Well, I wrote about him in SP Streamer over the weekend, and I think if you need speed, he's worth a shot. I mean, he's stolen bases in really limited opportunities with the Yankees. I think he's got 9 steals over the course of the last 2 years and about 100 at-bats, 110 at-bats total. And that's something, I mean, I don't know anybody that's not chasing steals. The question is, who are you benching to put him in? And when is Gleyber coming back? Because I think when that happens, it's over.
Well, and I actually prefer Tyler Wade in the role that you guys are talking about of random steals, multi-position guy. But I don't believe in this at all. Like, I wouldn't pick him up unless it was like he was one of the only major leaguers on the free agents.
Yeah. I think this has definitely been the one.
Right now.
I think it's definitely the one we're probably most out on right now.
Yeah.
What about this guy? Tell me you guys know what that is.
I didn't hear it.
I don't know.
No?
Mm-mm.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
I think so. Is that SpongeBob?
It sounds like Jack farting.
What? No, that's Yoshi.
Oh, yeah.
What? Come on, guys.
Dude, so after my time, David. Come on now.
But Yoshi,
I got 2 boys who love Mario. I can't believe I didn't get that. Oh,
I was never a video game guy.
There's I don't think there's a sound I have that has him going Yoshi. Oh, there we go. Okay, I should have done that
I
one.
like that.
All right, well, all that Yoshi was for, of course, Yoshi Tsugo. And he, over the last couple of weeks on the Pittsburgh Pirates, he has been producing. He's got a 333 average and 27 at-bats, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, also got nearly a 400 OBP, and his slugging is over 1,000 right now, good for a 1.424 OPS. So,
wow.
Guy that's really just crushing the ball, getting a lot of playing time for the Pirates. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Mike Carter. Yoshi Tsugo, does he do a lot for the eyes? Is he appealing on the eyes to have on your roster?
Well, he's got an opportunity, and I think that's something that's important. And he's got eligibility at a couple different spots in certain leagues, I believe, too, which might also be helpful to you as well down the stretch. You know, I mean, I think anybody can do anything in a week or two burst, as we've seen with a lot of different players. But you know, he was taken when he went to Tampa as a guy who was a power guy, right? I mean, they thought that he would develop some more power than what he did, and he never really blossomed into that in Tampa. And in Pittsburgh, he's got nobody really standing in his way for playing time. I think he could be a cheap source of power for you down the stretch. You know, he's a guy that's getting an opportunity for whatever reason now. It was kind of surprising to see him get picked up there in Pittsburgh. I didn't see that one coming, but you know, he's got a chance. He's got an opportunity to play, and he's taken advantage of it so far.
No, he really is, and he's looked great. And again, he's going to get a lot of playing time. They just released Gregory Polanco so that opens up some playing time in the outfield. I mean, he's definitely somebody that I've got my eye on as well. But let's go to Michael Richards. I want to talk about this next guy, Kyber Ruiz, and a guy that does not strike out a lot, especially for a catcher, which is pretty impressive. He's had a limited amount of major league experience here, but again, you're a prospect guy, and right now he's the number one in a lot of places for the Washington Nationals. And you expect that they're going to let him give every chance to succeed, struggle down the stretch here, so he gets more used to major league pitching. Is he somebody that in 2 catcher leagues, are you looking to roster him? And then even in 1 catcher leagues, is it somebody that might appeal to you?
Yes, he's stood out to me all season in the minor leagues. Just the stuff you said. He doesn't strike out. He's developed a lot of power this year. He's a switch hitter. The Nationals are high on him. I think he's going to be playing the bulk of the time down the stretch. So because of the position, it's just unless you have like a really good catcher already in place, he's a clear. I don't know if you want to call it gamble, but I would be targeting him hard in 2 catcher leagues, and I would put him in as someone I would roster over some lower level guy in a 1 catcher league. Like if some guy in the middle of the pack, I can't think of an example. Like if you have like a Mitch Garver or something, like I just swap him in. But so yeah, I do think he's the catcher of the future for that team. And I'm really high on him. It's hard to say how a catcher is going to produce down the stretch in a pretty small sample size, but because of the position and the hit tool and the power and the playing time, I'm definitely attracted to him.
All right. Well, it sounds like Michael Richards and Kyber Ruiz are a match made in heaven there.
Yeah.
I love that. The endorsement is real. And make sure you pick up Kyber Ruiz if you need any type of catching help. It sounds like he's going to be great for you down the stretch. Dave Funnel, I got to ask you now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to our last hitter here, and a hitter that many are very familiar with, and that's Miguel Sano. And a guy that
I'm out. I'm out.
Mike's already out on him. Dave, is there any hope more than the inconsistencies he's shown throughout his career at this point? I mean, the last couple of weeks right now, his last 43 at-bats, 4 homers, 12 RBIs, 256 average, which is actually pretty decent for him. But he's got 16 strikeouts over that time. He's nearly 50% rostered consensus among ESPN and Yahoo. Is he somebody that you're going to trust outside of just a couple high? Like, are you going to use some fab on him if he's a free agent in your league, or are you letting him sit?
I think at this point, he is what he is. He's a power hitter. He's a streaky hitter. So if he gets hot, pick him up, which he has been. And once he cools off, he's going to cool off. He's going to strike out. But he's going to get the playing time too, because the Twins, they're not good. They're not good at all. Like everything that could have gone wrong for that team this year went wrong. And he's going to play. So if you see him getting hot like he is, I would take a chance, but I'd be ready to just replace him.
No,
because he's gonna strike out, and he's not gonna.
Don't do it.
He is what he is. Like he raised his batting average to like what is he 220 right now or something?
Stop, Dave. Stop. You're not taking him either. You're not going to convince me that you are. There's no way. No, see, that's what I'm saying. So, like, there's no way you can take this guy. There's like, what are you going to do with him? I mean, he's streaky as all get out, right? We talked about that already, but I don't understand. He's hurt me so badly in the past. Like, I can't go back.
It sounds personal.
No, it's one of those things. You ever have we always have guys, don't we, that we love, like almost like secretly love, and we're like, wow, I'm going to get this guy like super late in a draft or whatever, and then they're a total dud. It's like my Carl Crawford syndrome. Like I had to have Carl Crawford every year, no matter what. I was like, so I was to get Carl Crawford, and he hits like 8 home runs and like steals 12 bases, and I lose because he didn't do anything, right? So like Sano is kind of like that guy to me. It's like, it's so tantalizing when he hits it so damn hard and so far, but he just doesn't hit it enough. His expected batting averages are always in the low 200s, and he's going to get 30 home runs. But is he hurt? Is he helping you more than he's hurting you? I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're not dropping a first baseman that you already have for him. For first base is pretty deep. maybe in the right matchup, if you want to stream him in there, if you want to put him on the bench and just, but no, forget it. No, you're right, Mike.
So
my work here is done.
let's finish these players and let's talk about somebody that I'm going to be interested to hear. We're going to go around the horn with this last guy. So we'll start with Dave and then go around here. Ranger Suarez, who has been very, very interesting. Over his last 27 innings, has given you a 2.03 ERA, a 1.31 WHIP, has what is it? 23 strikeouts in 27 innings. So the strikeout stuff isn't great, but there's always a big but. He has a 64.7% ground ball percentage, which is nearly 20% higher than the major league average. The man just loves having the ball hit the dirt when it's put into play. Fly ball percentage is under major league average, which is great for him. Line drive percentage as well. The man is just doing a great job limiting weak contact, 6.4% weak contact right now, which is an almost double the major league average there. So, Dave, I haven't seen him as a free agent too many leagues right now. Right now, at the moment, he's 42% rostered consensus among ESPN and Yahoo there. So in those leagues, he seems like he's a little bit more available than maybe what like NFBCs would have. But if you see Ranger Suarez, he's on my waiver wire. What am I doing?
I am picking him up. I know he's a 2-pitch pitcher, but he's trying to work in his changeup right now. And if he can get that going, it's just it. I like him down the stretch a lot. He's going to play for a good team that will help him get the wins. And I like what I'm seeing out of him. I also like that he's, at least in Yahoo, I know he's SPRP eligible as well. So you could slot him in somewhere else as well, especially in points leagues too. That helps out. But no, I'm on board the Ranger Suarez train right now. And I'm picking him up if I can, if I need him for sure.
Okay. So Mike, are you?
Let's talk about how stupid I am. Okay, for a minute. So here's what happened. I have him in ESPN home league. I had him as a relief pitcher when he was closing for Philadelphia, right? And I decided I had a chance to win the league. I decided I'm going to make a trade for more pitching, right? Makes sense. So I got Yu Darvish and Kyle Hendricks, and I traded some prospects that I had to get these guys, thinking down the stretch this is what's going to happen. Well, this other guy then said, "Hey, do you have any interest in Will Smith?" I go, "Sure," So I make a trade for Will Smith, and now I have a glut of relievers. And this was before they put Suarez into the rotation. And so I'm like, I'm going to hold on to him for a couple of starts to see what he does. Well, his first couple of starts, he only pitched like 2 or 3 innings. I'm like, to hell with this. I can't afford to have this guy. So I ended up cutting him, and I think I picked up like Chris Paddock or something. Shame on me, right? Because this guy is the real deal. Like, he looks really, really good. And he looks really, really good in the rotation for a team that's really trying to fight and make the playoffs. So long story short, anybody who's watching or listening, don't listen to me. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Look what I just did. I could still win the league, but I should have kept Suarez. I mean, he's really, really very good.
So sounds like we're all going with this Suarez train. Michael Richards, are you going to be the conductor of this train?
I'm not going to be the conductor, but I'll agree with you guys. I'm more familiar with him as a prospect in the Rangers organization. So I haven't yet shifted my mind from that guy to the starting pitcher I see now. So this is I'm a little bit surprised actually by this success he's having because of the lack of strikeouts. But like you said, you guys made a good points. He's actually using 3 pitches, great ground ball percentage, and he's doing well. His FIP's good. There's really no reason, and it seems like they're giving him a chance to stretch out and become a starter. This version of Ranger Suarez hasn't really been given a chance to show what he can do as a starting pitcher. So that to me alone is intriguing enough to give him a shot.
All right, I like it. Ranger Suarez, if he's on your free agent waiver wire, your fab, wherever you can pick him up, go get Ranger Suarez. That's going to conclude the informative baseball part of the show. So now we're going to get to the fun part, starting with the question of the week. Got to keep those short so we don't get copyright infringement. So we're working on that right now. Question of the week is sponsored by Monkey Knife Fight. Triple Play Fantasy is an official affiliate to Monkey Knife Fight, the fastest growing sports betting site in the United States. Use promo code TRIPLEPLAY and get up to $100 of your deposit matched when you become a new user and you use our code. So we've done a lot of questions of the week on this show, and we've done one every single week for about a year and a half. So you can calculate the amount of questions we've asked. This might have been the proudest one I've ever come up with, because it just hit me one day when I was in the middle of hallway duty at school, and I was like, this is going to be fun. So the question this week is, if you were marketing for Major League Baseball, they put you in charge of a commercial, and what would your commercial entail? So the things you have to include: there needs to be 4 players in your commercial. You need to give us an overall kind of theme of what the commercial is, and then what are you overall just pitching to the audience? Are you pitching for them to watch more games? Are you pitching player likeness for them to kind of learn these guys that maybe they don't know, and the kids can be like, hey, I saw him on a commercial, I know who he is. So give us what is going to be all in your commercial. I think I'm going to win this one. I came up with a pretty good one. So we might have to vote at the end for the one that's not your own and see which one gets it. So why don't we start with Michael Richards? Because he looked like he got something to prepare for it. So I want to see, what do you got to start out?
Okay, well, I'll start by saying I don't watch a bunch of TV, and I don't really like advertising. So this was tough for me to get in there mentally. So because I know you're trying to attract viewers. So, baseball has changed. The viewers have changed. My thinking would be I would need to get the stars involved. My thinking would be Ohtani would be one of them. Tatis would be another. And then probably Acuna and Soto. You could have Mike Trout in there. My thinking would be it'd be something along the lines of like a 4-part commercial where each player, it shows like a montage of their career starting when they were young. And then at the end of the commercial, it shows them walking into some door or something. And then each commercial's like that. And then they all meet up in showing like their different cultures and everything. And just the different things that they had to go through to get there. You're trying to bring some sort of familiarity with the best players and some sort of emotional attachment to it all. Showing little league highlights and different things like that brings your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So like that'd be the main idea behind it.
Okay. I dig it. All right, Mr. Mike Carter, what's in your commercial?
So here's my thought. So we're going Iowa corn game on this thing. Okay. So we have the White Sox and the Yankees. I'm totally serious. The Yankees and the White Sox played in that game. It was a great game. I'm sure you guys watched it. It was the most highly rated game in the last 15, 16 years for MLB. So my idea is we have Tim Anderson and Aaron Judge and Tatis, maybe Ohtani, guys from 4 totally different walks of life, all minority players, because MLB does a terrible job of marketing the game. Mm-hmm. My kid has to stay up till 10 o'clock at night to watch a Sox game, right? I mean, it's not appropriate. So it would be meeting in the cornfield and, maybe doing beating up a copy of Rob Manfred or something like that. But seriously, that game was so fun. And they have to market that better in that regard. So I would have them meeting in the corn and comparing notes on something, and then going out and showing them doing their bat flips and their celebrations and everything. All the 11-year-old boys that I coach on my team, these guys got all the mannerisms down. They are watching Tatis. They are watching Ohtani. It is so fun. It reminds me of when I was a kid. And the game has changed so much since I was a little kid. However, the one thing that doesn't change is that kids love that game once they get exposed to it. And once they learn how to play it, they love it. They've got good instincts. They want to learn how to do it. They've got to market these guys. They've got to put games on TV during the week. They've got to put them on at a time when kids can watch them. And damn it, bring back the Saturday game of the week on NBC when I was a kid. We had, Joe Garagiola and, Vin Scully and Tony Kubek and these guys calling games. We lived for that because there was no cable when I was a kid. So MLB baseball, do something about your problem. Market your game, market your product, market your superstars. Jack is 11 years old and is a huge baseball fan. He's seen Mike Trout play 3 times on TV. Mm-hmm. That's insane. What are they doing? It's almost like they're purposely trying not to do it.
Yeah, and it's been a problem for a long time. They've been you have the NFL and NBA guys that you see on all these commercials and doing things and all these endorsements, and it's like MLB's definitely behind the 8 ball on that. So
well, David, NFL's on what, 4 or 5 nights a week, right? It used to just be Sunday. Now it's Monday. What, they got a Thursday game or whatever now, right? We got to watch 2 crappy teams like the Bears play, right? So why isn't MLB doing that? What's the holdup? Like, I'm sure that it's probably money, and somewhere somebody needs to get paid for it, and I get that. But I mean, we're going to lose a generation of kids to other sports or doing other things, and it's the greatest. You'll never convince me that baseball isn't the greatest game that's ever been invented. You'll never convince me of it. Try, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
We need to definitely market it better. And I'm hoping someone from Major League Baseball is watching this so they can get some ideas and then they can pay us the royalty fees for using them. So
yeah, I want to retire. I'm close to retirement. Let's do it. I'm in.
Dave, what's your commercial?
Okay, so Mike, so what you're saying is you don't like local blackouts? You don't want to watch?
No.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, so my idea is a lot less serious than the last 2. I was gonna try and incorporate The Simpsons into it with how that amazing episode, and somehow maybe it's like the new guys, like it's a home run derby, so it's like Alonso and Soto or something, some marketable players against like some of the old ones, Griffey, and always got to get Griffey involved, and anyone else, and then let's just say the bat breaks, and then all of a sudden you see Homer hand over the Wonder Bat, and it's just MLB comes together, and I don't know, something like that.
I get it. Anytime you can incorporate The Simpsons, I think that's awesome.
100%.
So for mine, I think you guys are missing one key thing that I think we need, and we need social media engagement to be involved, right? Because people want it to stretch. And so here's my idea for a commercial. So it's a whodunit. You have Fernando Tatis, Bryce Harper, Bo Bichette, and Nick Castellanos. I want stars, obviously, but I also like mixing in some guys that look like they could just be bad. Like Bo Bichette and Nick Castellanos have like mean mugs.
Yeah,
so
they do.
Yes, I feel like they would fit in the theme of my commercial. And they're like stars that I don't think get enough marketing either. So it's a whodunit, and you're gonna have like a detective, 2 detectives on the scene, and they're gonna look at crimes that are happening, right? They're gonna or so-called like incidents. So you're gonna see them with like a notepad. The first thing that they see is they see a bunch of destroyed baseballs, right? Like balls that are just like torn up, ripped apart, and they're just like, oh man, like who could have done this? Like who could have destroyed these baseballs like that hard? And like you find a clue in each commercial that ties you in with like who it could be. The next it's a commercial series, right? So it's not just the same commercial.
Great idea.
The next series they might find a pitching machine that's been dented because like they hit the ball so hard back at it that like the machine was destroyed. The next commercial, you might see an outline of somebody that was hit by like a home run ball or something that they hit. And this is where they laid, like after they like got hit by the ball or something like that. And each commercial has a clue. And then the company puts out, like Emily's like, who do you think after this commercial, who do you think it is? And they put it like to a Twitter vote. And everybody can like vote who they think it is. And like you'll see like, Bo Bichette being clipped like, man, it ain't me. Like, look at him or something. Like, you could have like some kind of cool thing with like a series like that. And I feel like that would play with the kids because like the kids could get involved with like the mystery part of it and doing that. The adults would kind of like it because it's something different. So doing some kind of whodunit, and then like the 4th or 5th commercial in the series, you finally find out who it is. So there's build up to it.
And can we just say for sure it's not Miguel Sano?
Not enough balls make contact with his bat for it to be him.
That's a good idea.
I love it. Yep. I love it.
I don't know, something different. I feel like you got to get the social media. You got to have something that's going to keep having people want to like keep tuning in. If like I'm like, oh, they're going to do the next series of that commercial today, I'm going to tune in and watch to see what the next clue could be or something. Something different. Okay. Well, that was fun. Good questions of the week here. Now we're going to move into the last segment of the night, which is going to be our game of the week. Where is it? Where's my button? Gotta cut it early. Gotta watch those copyrights. Okay.
Is I allowed to say Simpsons, or should I have changed that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No copyright.
So our question of the week is called "Who's on Top?" and I'm going to say this annoying thing, who's on top, every single time I do a different one. So because I'm making it a jingle. So these were, fortunately, now that I'm back in school, I wasn't able to do the stats as of today. So when I had time, it was on Monday afternoon. So these were going into Monday evening's games, these stats. So again, they might have changed a little bit since yesterday, but these were again as of yesterday. So what we're going to do is you get to tell me who's on top of that specific category. There's 4 hitting categories and 4 pitcher categories. I'm going to give you 4 names, and then you tell me who's on top. That makes sense?
I like this idea.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be terrible at it, but I love it.
So what we'll do is we'll go like Dave, and then Mike Carter, and then Michael Richards, and then the next one, Doc will start off, and so on and so forth. Everybody get their guesses in. And math was my worst subject in school, so you guys might have to keep track of your own score. All right?
Oh, boy.
Sounds good.
All right, first one, home runs. Who's on top? Mitch Haniger, Adolis Garcia, Brandon Lau, or Aaron Judge?
Oh, boy.
Starting with Dave.
Let's go Brandon Lau.
Brandon Lau. Mike?
I think I'm going to go Lau, too.
Going Lau. Richards?
Brandon Lau.
Oh, we are all on the board very early. Very nice, gentlemen. That is correct. Brandon Lau has, as of, again, going into Monday's games, 30 home runs. Aaron Judge, Adolis Garcia, and Mitch Haniger all had 29. So nice job.
Wow.
I thought Haniger had 29. I have him on one of my teams. I was trying to remember.
All right, the second one, we got his batting average. Who's on top? We've got Austin Riley, Bryce Harper, Tim Anderson, and Brian Reynolds. Starting with Mike Carter.
Well, I would have said TA a couple weeks ago, but I don't think it's him. I think it's Harper.
All right, Doc is going with Harper.
I'm gonna go with Austin Riley.
And Dave?
I don't know how they've been doing lately, but I'm going to take Brian Reynolds.
And the correct answer is Austin Riley. So
wow, nice job, Michael.
Michael Richards gets that one. The batting averages were Austin Riley 304, Bryce Harper 302, Tim Anderson 301, and Brian Reynolds 299.
Wow, they're all pretty close.
Yeah.
I made sure that every single one is close together, so they'll it's going to be by like one of this or a couple percent.
Yeah, those are good ones, David. They're really tight.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is something that if you guys look up, I'll be very impressed. It's doubles. So these are some of the top guys in doubles here. We have Colton Wong, Ty France, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani, starting with Michael Richards.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go with Ty France.
All right, Dave?
Yeah, that was my first guess. I'll say Ty France.
And
just because his name doesn't seem like it belongs there, I think it's probably Ty France.
And Ty France is locked in. The correct answer is Ty France. Nice job, gentlemen. All right.
Wow.
So I actually kept track so far. Michael's got 3, and then you each have 2, I believe. So slim lead. We still got 5 more to go. We're going to get a little bit more obscure with some of these. And now we've got hitters with the most strikeouts. Okay.
There could be a lot of those.
So who's on top of hitting strikeouts here? We've got Willie Adames, Chris Taylor, Miguel Sano, and Randy Arozarena, starting with Dave Funnel.
See, I want to say Sano because it seems
so
obvious, but I will go. What were the other 3? Sorry, Arozarena,
Willie Adames, and Chris Taylor.
I'll take Adames.
Adames for Dave. Carter?
Well, I think I know this because I was trying to figure out if I should keep this guy or not, and I was looking at his strikeouts, and it was staggering.
Mike,
go ahead.
This is the gamesmanship part that you're. I would thought you were a vet by now. When you say that and you sound confident, then you know that Michael Richards can just copy you.
Yeah, but he could be right and I could be wrong.
That's true.
I'm just guessing because I saw this guy strikeouts and I was like, what the hell? Chris Taylor. He's got a shit ton of strikeouts.
Okay.
I was going to say Chris Taylor.
Well, I will say you two are correct. It is Chris Taylor.
That's okay, because even if Michael beats me, he's still going to send me the ball hair trimmer.
That's true.
That was very impressive by you, Doc, because I was shocked too when I saw his name. So Chris Taylor, 142, Willie Adames, 140, Miguel Sano, 139, and Randy Arozarena, 138.
You would not think that Adames had that many strikeouts, would you?
Yeah, I'm surprised they both had more than Miguel Sano. Honestly, like that was kind of mind-boggling.
It's the eyesight. He can see now. He can see. Couldn't see in Tampa.
So we're going to the pitchers now. We got 4 pitcher ones, and we're starting with quality starts. So who's on top? Frankie Montas, Corbin Burns, Joe Musgrove, or Wade Miley? Starting with Doc.
I'm going to say Wade Miley just for the hell of it.
Wade Miley for Doc. Michael Richards.
I feel like I'm being tricked here in this one.
I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, I'm going with Wade Miley also.
Wade Miley. Dave.
Yeah, I Wade Miley. He's so underrated this year.
All right, so we are all on the Wade Miley train. Is that the answer? That is not correct. All right, we got a unanimous wrong one here. The correct answer is Frankie Montas with 15 quality starts.
Wow.
Corbin Burns with 14, Joe Musgrove with 13, and Wade Miley also had 14 quality starts. So that was
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so that was very
that's wild.
But so I'm
hey, there's Art.
There a little guy, little cheesecake checking in here. So I believe right now still you have a 1-point lead, Michael, over Doc, and you have a 2-point lead over Dave. We got 3 left here. Next one. Who's on top for Holtz? The Holtz leaders here. And I actually took these. These are, again, near the top, not quite the top here. So the choices are Devin Williams, Adam Ottavino, Chad Green, and Luke Jackson. Starting, I believe, with Michael Richards.
I'm going to go with Luke Jackson.
Luke Jackson. Dave.
I'll take Ottavino.
Ottavino. Mike.
It is Luke Jackson because I write a bullpen column every week, so these are the things that I have to know. Surprisingly, Luke Jackson, who was closing last year for Atlanta at this time, right? So
the handicap helps with him writing his article. That is, use it to your advantage. I like it. That is nice. It is Luke Jackson. He has 23 holds.
Yes.
Devin Williams with 21, Adam Ottavino with 19, and Chad Green with 17.
I think Blake Trinan is still the leader, but as of yesterday.
So we have 2 left here. So I don't know if Dave can pull this out here.
No pressure, Michael Richards.
But
no pressure.
We're still going to all play. So the next one. Who's on top of Ks per 9? We've got Charlie Morton, Tyler Molly, Brandon Woodruff, and Zach Wheeler. Starting with Dave.
Let's go with Molly.
Tyler Molly. Mike?
I think it's Molly, too.
Richards,
can you repeat the other 3?
Yes, it's Molly, Charlie Morton, Brandon Woodruff, and Zach Wheeler.
I'll go with Zach Wheeler.
Well, for the second time in this game, you are all incorrect. The correct answer is Charlie Morton with a 10.7 K per 9. Tyler Molly, 10.6. Brandon Woodruff, 10.5. And Zach Wheeler, 10.4.
I love Charlie Morton.
It's pretty crazy. He's looked as good as he ever has right now. So maybe hopefully he'll keep playing the way he's going. Last one. Now, Doc, I believe you need to get this one right, and Richards has to get it wrong for you to tie, and then I'll have an emergency one I'll pull up for the tiebreaker.
Oh, boy.
That happens. But your undefeated streak is on the line right now.
I think it's over, man.
So the final who's on top is home runs allowed by pitchers here.
Oof.
So this one I actually took. This is the top 4 in the leaderboard, okay? So if you looked up your home runs allowed, you have a good inside track here. So the choices are Jordan Lyles, Patrick Corbin, Mike Fultonevich, or Kyle Hendricks. And I believe we are starting with you, Doc.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Kyle Hendricks.
Kyle Hendricks. All right. Mike Richards.
I'm going to make a strategy move here and also take Kyle Hendricks.
You're sending me that ball hair trimmer, Richards.
Oh,
it's mine.
That was
I will.
That's smart.
That's a great strategy.
It is. Dave, what about you? What do you think?
I'll go Mike Fultonevich.
Well, I will say, Dave, you finished strong. It is Mike Fultonevich.
Oh, wow.
And the blocking strategy from Michael Richards did work. The correct order is Mike Fultonevich with 34 home runs allowed.
Oh, my God.
Jordan Lyles with 33. Patrick Corbin with 31. And Kyle Hendricks with 28. So I will say, though, Michael Richards coming in as a newbie, taking down the 2-0 Dr. Mike Carter. For that, you definitely get the crowd cheer for that. Nice job.
See, David, the problem is that I'm usually going against Eric and Art, so they're pretty easy to beat. You know, these guys. This is tougher competition, man.
That's right. We had to step it up. Make sure no one can get to that 3-0 mark.
And then Michael used a strategy move to totally cockblock me.
So has anyone used the strategy before?
So it's always they always are like, do I want to do it, or would I rather just like go out on a limb and just do it? Like we've seen like a mix of both. So I
like to lock up the victory and then give him the reward.
Oh, that's just the joke about that was that the one time that I was on, that was one of the advertisements that they were doing, and I said, "Well, do I win something from this?" And they said, "If you win if you come back on a third time and you win, then you can get something." So I'm just kidding. I'm just so thrilled to be able to be on with you guys. It's a blast. I have so much fun.
Oh man, it is a blast with always with you, Mike, and now having been able to have you guys on, this was an absolute treat. The Roto Fanatic crew does it hard. They do it well. This is a great group. And on that note, I want to give you guys a chance to plug all the great stuff you guys are doing. If anybody's not following these guys, make sure they know where they can follow you, all that good stuff. So Dave, go ahead and lead us off here.
Oh, and first of all, thank you for everything. And this was a lot of fun. Love everything you guys do as well. So
thank you.
Well, except that LeBron is overrated.
That wasn't my bit. That was Doc. That was all Doc.
He did a great job on that.
Found a lot of holes in that, but I am over at Roto Fanatic. I do the Infirmary Report every week. I'm at Prospects 1500. I write about the Twins, and you can follow me at SPORTZ_NUTT51 Dave Funnel. So thank you.
Great follow. You all need to make sure you catch up and get to following him, following all the great work he has if you are not already. Doc, got the trusty baseball always in hand. One of my favorite guys. So pumped to have you back on. You've tied a triple play record. This is 3 times on the show. I think you and Bubba and Toby and Eric Cross are the only ones that 3. Talk about one thing that doesn't belong there. No, if you belong all the same, my friend. It's always a blast having you. I appreciate you coming on as well.
Yeah, it's always good with you guys. You know, the first time I ever was on a podcast was with you guys, and you hit it off the right way. And I really enjoyed being on with you guys. I come on anytime you would want me to come on. I have the worst Twitter handle besides Dave. At MDRC0 and. Number 5 for George Brett, number 8 for Cal Ripken, 2 of my favorite players of all time. And I work for 4 different websites right now. My first website that I ever worked for is 980 Know-It-All. I'm representing them tonight with my T-shirt. But my main site is Roto Fanatic, where I do the closing remarks piece on a weekly basis using Paul Mamino's Data Monster, which is pretty fantastic. I also do low-owned players for SP Streamer, guys that are owned at 20% or less of NFBC leagues, and try to help you find some value there. And I'm also doing 2-start pitchers for Fantrax, which is probably the hardest piece I write every week because I never get it right.
It's a tough task, man. You're doing the Lord's work with that, because that is not easy. So,
but I'm really lucky to be able to have an opportunity. I mean, you know, a year ago at this time, when I came on with you guys, nobody knew who I was. I didn't really know who I was either. I'm on Twitter now. I got a couple thousand people following me that seem to enjoy what I have to say and the work that we do. And I just love the fantasy baseball community, and hoping that we can continue to grow it and make it more inclusive for everybody who wants to be part of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Everything that you do, fully endorse all that you got going on and all that you do. You're a very hard worker, as you can tell by all the stuff that you're doing. And it's been awesome watching you grow and your followers and your presence, and couldn't happen to a better guy, honestly. So
I appreciate that, David. Thank you so much.
Of course. And of course, I'm not going to forget one of our superstars also on this panel, Michael Richards, prospect guru. Very nice to have you on the show as well. Being able to meet you face to face. Make sure you let everybody know what you got going and all that you do.
All right, David, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was a big surprise and it's a big thrill for me because I enjoy what you guys do and have been following you for a while.
Thank you.
You can find my work at Roto Fanatic. I'm working on updating top 20, top 25 lists for each organization, and it's going to turn into a giant dynasty list, probably 600 plus players that I'm going to be able to update every day. So it's a big project I've been working on for a long time. And at Prospects 1500, like you said earlier, I'm the High West affiliate, I guess, and I'm just pumping out a few more articles on the teams that I haven't covered. Next up is the Spokane Indians, Colorado Rockies affiliate.
That's going to be awesome. Make sure, we'd love to make sure we can help you in any way. So when you put that piece out, we'll definitely make sure we can retweet to get it out there. Some more people, they need to make sure they see that. That's awesome work that you're doing. And again, thank you to an awesome panel of Roto Fanatic guys. Make sure you check out rotofanatic.com, all the great stuff that they're doing over there and all the great stuff that Roto Fanatic does. So very appreciative of these guys. If for those that watch Triple Play, listen to the podcast, ever you consume Triple Play Fantasy, truly appreciate you guys each and every single week. Next week, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be off. I'm getting married this weekend, and then I have my honeymoon. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
No, is she actually going to do it?
As far as I know, she has a couple days to change her mind.
I mean, is she still there?
She's in New Jersey right now getting stuff ready for
I bet she is. Okay.
Yeah. She's getting a plane out of here. But Doc's going to handle the show. He's going to bring on some people, so I have no idea what he's got going on. But,
oh, God, it might be a fiasco.
I don't know if I should listen or tune in. It's going to
hopefully he won't be recording from his closet again.
He's got a house now, luckily.
Oh, that's good.
But it's going to be an interesting show. So make sure if you like the doc, you check that one out next week. But until then, everyone be safe out there. Enjoy another week of baseball. And we're going to make like a bread truck and we're going to haul these buns. Catch you guys in the next